Yeah, just soreness overall, body soreness. So.
One more question, Sean, on the potential logistics. I mean, this is something you guys, for lack of a better term, might be conditioned to. If you needed to leave early, I mean, dealing with that, especially given what, you guys have been through in terms of weather and other changes, how much of a pivot is that if you had to do it? Would it interrupt you much at all?
Yeah, no, you do what you got to do at the end of the day. That's what we're here to do. So.
Sean, does the transition now that you've clinched a playoff spot move from playoff caliber to championship caliber? Has that happened this week? That has been what's happened in the past?
Yeah, that's a normal progression for us. Yeah.
What started that, and does this feeling ever? I'm sure it doesn't, but just for the sake of argument, does it ever get old?
The feeling.
The feeling of clinching a playoff berth. I mean.
Oh no, listen. It's that's hard to do. I remember being in Philadelphia as a young coach early on, and we were on a similar run, and there were coaches on our staff who, prior to coming or going at that point to Philadelphia, had been in the league, multiple years and had never even touched the playoffs. So I know Derek knows who some of those guys were. So you never take it for granted. And I'm sure 17 years here for a lot of fans and people in our building, that's hard to accomplish, and you never take that for granted. All the work that goes into that.
How much do you appreciate the fact that this team, not just you, but just this organization has been transformed since you and Brandon and set the culture back in 2017?
Yeah, I mean, we just take it one game at a time, John. I appreciate what you're saying. I really do. Now's not really the time for us on the inside for us to, and you got to be careful of that. The relaxation syndrome. You got to stay on it. You got to stay urgent in your approach. Put in the work that's necessary to win.
And lastly, if I may, just on that, how much is your message unfinished business at this point?
The message is more of we're facing a Chicago Bears team that is playing really good football right now, and they play extremely hard. I think Coach Eberflus has done a great job of changing that culture, perhaps, at least from the outside looking in terms of how they're playing. They're well coached, like I said, and they've got players playing extremely hard. And they took a team in last week in Philadelphia who has the best record in the NFL and took them to the limit there. So this is a tough football team we're going to play, so we better be ready.
Sean, is there any concern that George might not be able to?
Just taking it one day at a time. So obviously there's a concern when a guy misses practice. After that, I couldn't tell you. Yeah.
Sean, one more follow-up to John was asking about there. Like, how much do you need to enforce that message? It seems like the culture within the room, and you would think with a potential number one seed and bye and all the home field that comes with that would be the urgency, given the type of race you're still in. But within the room itself, does that message kind of, do they communicate it amongst each other, or do you need to reinforce that?
I feel like overall it's reinforced, and then that's a part of it and or a piece of it, and then you look to your leaders to lead by example in this situation, and know that every week in the league, records don't matter, and nor does leads, and that was front and center this past weekend on Sunday when we got a chance to watch some games. At least in the background, that you're seeing that records don't matter. So I think you got to respect the league enough that way that records are out the window and leads also don't matter. So you got to approach every week the same way, and you can take pride in that.
Sean, a ton of wind in the forecast for this game on Saturday. What did you learn from going through that game last year against New England that you might be able to apply this week and going forward?
Yeah, conditions, we have conditions here that are somewhat similar. Obviously, every situation is a little bit different. I think overall, they had a similar game maybe this past week out there in Chicago with some wind affecting the game and how the game's managed. So able to learn a little bit from that. They'll probably have the advantage, obviously, because, their home field in terms of what they're used to and how the wind swirls there. Or blows one direction versus the other. So, we've got to be aware of that and prepare accordingly.
John, when you see Fields, what do you see as far as what he brings to the table?
Yeah, extremely talented player. has done a great job of leading their offense and I'm sure leading their team. Again, I'm not on the inside there, obviously, so but he puts them in scoring positions. He's had a number of explosive plays, including third downs, where he is converted via the air or via his feet. So red zone, 2-minute, he's an issue. I was around, Cam in his early years and never compared two players, but you just see the dynamic athlete and what he can do, and he's off to a great start in his career.
Leslie kind of said, that, I suppose it's comparison, but with the success you've had, relatively speaking, against Lamar Jackson, that there are some things defensively in terms of scheme that you can take and apply to a matchup like this. Do you see it that way?
I think each player is different. I think their offenses are different, and I think Justin Fields is his own player, to be honest with you, and I say that respectfully. I mean, he's off to a great start. Obviously, Lamar is a few years beyond that in terms of his veteranship in the league. So, like I said, he's a talented football player and tough to defend.
Sean, really the last several weeks, it seems, but maybe even going back a little further, missed tackles on defense have kind of been a thing for you guys this year.
Yeah.
For the defensive guy, how disconcerting is that to see this kind of being a problem?
Yeah, well, I mean, like anything else, fundamentals win, and if you don't execute fundamentals, it's a lot harder to win football games. And really, you go back to all of it. And when you play good defensive football, it starts with an attitude and a mentality and a nastiness. And I think we can tend to improve in there as well.
Sean, what did you see from Kyer the other day, and what does he need to do to kind of continue to take those steps in that direction?
Yeah, I mean, again, a young player that I thought had some success the other night and saw his hard work paying off. Baby steps in this case, but you celebrate those wins, and so now he needs to take that and build on it as he moves forward this week.
Coach, I know we talk football all the time. What are the main things? You got Josh Allen interacting with children before games, and Stephon Diggs giving out gifts, and Deion's efforts in the community.
Yeah.
What thoughts on two players?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great question. Mookie, I think last night a lot of the guys were honored for Pro Bowl mentions, accolades, and those are great honors. But in this deal, like what these guys do out, off the field in the community, the types of people that they are, I think should also be celebrated. And there's a number of them around the league, and we're fortunate to have a number of them here. And just those guys having enough awareness, perspective at early ages to give back, right, and pay it forward, however you want to say it. That I think that goes a long way.
Sean, you guys have played a lot of close games over the last half dozen weeks or so, and the type of games I assume you might expect in the playoffs. How does kind of grinding of these games in the fourth quarter, do you think, help your team in preparation for that stretch?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's important. Never want to put too much into one aspect of what you do, but knowing how to win is important, and managing those parts of the game is also important. I know from my heart it'd be great if we would not play those games, but I think the league is built that way, and it's a league of heart disease, basically, right? So I say that respectfully, of course, but it's you watch the games on Sunday, like I said, we got a chance to do, and it's every game's close. Or a game was, at halftime it was a 2-score lead, and all of a sudden it's tied up and it's in overtime. So, welcome to the NFL, right?
Sean, you've talked a couple times recently about being a partner's journey and just everything behind the scenes.
Yeah.
What was it like actually letting him know that he was finally going to get activated?
Yeah, I mean, again, just a result of a lot of hard work, and those are good conversations when those come up. Just I know I speak for everyone on the team that's so excited for him and the work that he's put in, the journey that he's been on and been through. And not just him, but you guys understand when it's a significant injury like that, in particular, any injury, families get affected by that, right? And family schedules and Ike, being here, his family sometimes being out home in Iowa, then some of them here and some of them there, and that takes a lot. It takes a toll on the family as well.
Coach, how important is Jordan Phillips' presence on the field?
Yeah, it's very important. He's a good football player, and we'll see where it goes this week. Obviously, we miss him when he's not in the lineup, but availability is important. And then on top of that, being out there is one thing, but being able to perform at a winning level is another thing.
Sean, we talk a lot about how the players deal with the cold. Josh talked about putting icy hot in his feet, but the players are running around. How do you stay warm in what could be sub-zero temperatures?
Yeah, Jeff Mazurek, our equipment guy, does a great job, him and his staff. You don't want for anything. I mean, you go out there, you feel well prepared. Everything's in your lockers, so we've got it pretty easy.
What is everything, though? I mean, what are the things that you do? Is it hot? Is there, what is
I didn't know about that. I'll have to ask Josh about that. But last thing you want to do is put something on maybe like that, and then you're out there and you can't, you can't leave, So I think most of us take caution to what we wear and more conservative approach maybe. All right, thanks, guys.